and putting on your page?
Yeah, it was going back to when y'all were talking about the bullets, the holotips. He said most big city police departments began using holotip points in the 1970s and 80s. They are more accurate to shoot. Fewer shots are needed to take down a target. They are less prone to ricochet, and they tend to stay inside of the body of the target rather than pass through, which is important if the officer is in a shootout in a public setting.
And
Okay.
we also got Drew joining us. How you doing there, Drew?
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Hey,
Doing well.
Drew. Welcome to the Resistance.
Glad to be here. I've been wanting to call in. Didn't even know exactly what time you guys were airing, but I saw that you guys were live. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get in on this.
All right. You got a question, comment about the Second Amendment, or what are your thoughts on on what's transpired?
Well, I figured that a lot of it wouldn't pass. They wanted too much too quickly, and they were way too aggressive. And I'm just really glad to see that they lost, or they are in the process of losing. I'm still scared, still a little disturbed by certain things, but I'm glad to see that Feinstein is kind of walking down from the Senate floor with her tail between her legs.
Yeah, it kind of sounded like that with her comments. She definitely sounded disappointed, to say the least. And I guess it takes a lot of work putting a bill together like that. Not a whole lot of brains, but a whole lot of work. So, but too bad.
Yeah, it was a good waste of fucking taxpayer money for her to sit around and come up with some stupid bill.
Well, one could argue that she helped California get their gun laws passed and stuff
And
like
Colorado's. Yeah.
yeah, in Colorado's. But as far as as I know, Colorado's new gun laws does not go around confiscating weapons.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the particulars are on the Colorado legislation. I know
Okay.
it's big enough that I think they did include the 30 round mag issue on that one. I know Magpul Industries, which makes excellent 30 round magazines, they're pulling out of Colorado and looking to move elsewhere.
Right. Yeah, they limited the magazine to 15 rounds. And then I think some different background checks and stuff like that, and straw purchases, and
No, that's a pretty useless bill because what they're just going to travel to a neighboring state, buy the gun, and then come back in.
but it'd
What,
still be illegal. Well, yeah, I mean they'll still have the gun, yes, but it'll be illegal to have that gun there, which goes to show, with the criminals out there, criminals do not follow the law, hence why they're criminals. These are law-abiding citizens. So I don't understand here, but now, Drew, do you know anything much about the UN gun treaty at all, or?
I haven't, I'm aware that there's one in the works, but I haven't really done my research on that issue. I think so far what I've heard is that it's not so much sale banning, and I could be wrong, but I think it's more in terms of registering and tracking.
Right. Well, and there is a provision in the treaty for international registry, which honestly, to me, registration leads to confiscation. You know.
Well, registration for me makes me nervous just because of who can use that information. I mean, you were talking about, you had mentioned Red Dawn, 10, 15 minutes ago.
Right.
What was the first thing that happened in the invasion scene in the original Red Dawn? They go to the local sporting goods store and they're obtaining the forms that have, the registered owners of all the firearms, because they're the ones that are going to be the troublemakers. They rounded them up,
Exactly.
I'm not really a conspiracy theorist, but there are things that shift in the political winds over time. What would happen hypothetically in 20, 30 years if China decides that they want to collect on their debt and they send troops here? well, that's the first thing they're going to do. They're going to come after the gun owners. I mean,
Right. Well, exactly. And, Mexico has already asked for all, registration of all people living in California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas, registered gun owners. They want a list of them. Why, and why would Mexico want that again?
because people like me like to fire warning shots across the Rio Grande.
Come on, Drew. Ammo's getting expensive. You got to cut down on those warning shots.
Hell, it's not. It's not expensive. It's non-existent. I've walked home from Cabela's the last 4 or 5 times in a row empty-handed. I can't even get 22 long rifle right now. I mean, it's dry. Walmart's dry. Cabela's is dry. Dick's Sporting Goods, Bass Pro Shops. Everywhere I go, you cannot find ammunition. There was a Fort Worth police officer at the Cabela's 2 weeks ago that walked home empty-handed. He was looking for personal ammunition.
Wow.
Well, so far up in Minnesota, we don't have that problem yet.
You can't even reload. Reloading supplies are gone. You can't find brass anywhere.
Really? Now, is it like that over in Oregon there, Christina or Rick?
They're still reloading supplies out here in places like Weimar, especially. And there is ammo out here. But I suppose in the cities where people are a lot more paranoid than they are out here in the sticks, there's ammo and stuff available.
Okay. Well, maybe you should just mail some to Drew there. He's finding it difficult to find.
So we'll start taking orders after the show.
Go into Weimar and walk out with enough ammo and powder and reloaded supplies for everyone to have the feds here within a week.
And it's funny because you had said one of the gun manufacturers was leaving Colorado, and how much you want to bet they're going to set up shop in Texas?
Oh, there's already a bunch of companies that do tactical stuff, magazine stuff like that have already announced their intentions to move to Texas. So, we have the best job growth in the nation right now, and it's just because of this. It's going to just help embolden that. So,
well, right, that and your small business taxes among one of the lowest in the country.
Exactly.
So
hopefully they'll come to Fort Worth, because with Obama now cutting more defense spending, Lockheed here in Fort Worth is going to probably take another hit. So that would kind of help offset the unemployment that result from that. So,
right, yeah, and now I wasn't sure if I was going to bring this up or not, but I kind of want to get your take on this real quick, Drew. Now, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid went on and talked about how 7 Marines were killed in a training exercise just south of Reno, Nevada, and then right after he makes that announcement, he talks about how the sequester, how the cuts could have contributed to that or something. It made it sound like he was linking the two together. I mean, did you catch that, or?
I did. I think that was kind of tasteless. I think that was kind of an opportunistic pot shot. I don't think that any type of sequestration is going to take away the minimum safety, systems in place for our soldiers and sailors and all that. They may get cut some basic services, the BX may not have some of the things that they used to have. The movie theater there on base might be closed during the week and only on the weekends, but I don't think things that, allow our fighting men to be safe, I don't think those things are going to affect any. I'd hope not.
Okay.
I don't think they would. Common sense would come into play.
Right, you would think, yes. I mean,
I would. So,
well, and I mean, what is he suggesting, that because of the sequester cuts, the Marines had faulty mortar shells? I mean, because that's what happened was was a 60 millimeter mortar blew up in the tube and killed 7 Marines. So
Yeah, well, training accidents happen all the time. I
right.
mean, I think this was just one of those things where he just took advantage of it to say, hey, this may have been a result, which it wasn't. You know, I think it was kind of a tactless pot shot, but
Yeah, just
But I don't see how you could even tie that sequester situation to a mortar tube blowing up in a shell during a training exercise.
yeah.
That's an extremely long stretch.
Yeah, I know, and yeah,
agreed.
I think it just goes more to Democrats and how they will use any event that they can to further their agenda. Kind of like what Harry Reid did. And then look at Sandy Hook, and now all of a sudden there's this huge push for gun control. And of course they always bring up the Aurora, Colorado shooting as well. But not even after Columbine was there such a big push for gun control. And Columbine happened in 1999, and in 1994 the Clinton administration passed an assault weapons ban, and that didn't stop Columbine from happening. So,
You stole my thunder.
sorry. Okay. So now here's the question I'll ask everyone here. And I think I know what the answer is going to be, but tell us what you think about it. Is does gun control work? And Rick, we're going to start with you.
No, it doesn't. All it does is keep firearms out of the hands of those who would use them with common sense and justice. It doesn't keep firearms out of the hands of those that would want to use them for a crime, period.
Okay.
The last time there was anything like this going on with gun control, it was when Reagan was shot back with the Brady Bill. Has that done anything to curb firearm violence in the last 20-something years? I don't think so.
No, I would think not. Actually, for a country that is number one in the world for gun ownership, and we're only number 28 for gun homicides in the entire world. I mean, we don't even make the top 10. And most of the gun violence that does happen, or deaths related to gun violence that do happen, are the result of criminals using the guns, not law-abiding citizens.
Or armed guerrilla groups in third world nations fighting with each other for power and control. It's
Right,
not
but
here.
right. I'm just talking about in the U.S. though. You got your gangs and your drive-bys and stuff like that, and most of those people are should not have a gun. But
Yeah.
I think you kind of nail it right there. That gun control just takes away from the law-abiding citizen. Now, Christine, what are your thoughts on gun control? I mean, is there any hope for it to work, or is it just a failed effort?
It's failed.
Yeah,
effort.
it's a failed effort. I don't think it's like you said. They're going to try to take them away, but there's still going to be people out there that's getting them. Like now, I mean, it's crazy.
They can make all the regulations they want, and there are people like me that have enough gearhead knowledge that all they would need is a metal lathe and access to raw material. And in 3 days, they could lathe out whatever kind of firearm they wanted. And then it would just be a matter of getting ammunition.
Okay. All right. Now,
I really think that any kind of gun control laws would stop me from having firearms if I wanted them. All I gotta do is get a metal lathe, and I can make as many firearms as I want.
And there's a lot of people out there that are true Americans and are not going to give their firearms up for anything.
okay. Now, Drew, let me just ask you the same question. Gun control. I mean, is there any examples in history that could say that gun control worked?
Not that I know of. I mean, we are who we are in the